Out we go. Before you even throw the punches, your stance must be right as far as your pivot. Start off with your pivot, get on your pivot, and it's light. The jab goes like this. This is exactly how the jab go. Jab.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford.
Floyd Mayweather recently entered Terence Crawford's training camp and gave him important tips on how to beat Canelo Alvarez. Mayweather shared the strategies that helped him beat Canelo in their 2013 fight. While he was there, he told Crawford to use Canelo's flaws against him by focusing on speed, quick defense, and accurate counterpunching. Crawford could benefit from Mayweather's knowledge and help as he prepares for this important fight against the bigger and stronger Alvarez.
You bring the hook with it. You can go to the body. Jab. Just double jab. Triple jab.
At a recent press conference, Canelo Alvarez was candid about Terence Crawford's success. He noted that Crawford has yet to meet a truly elite opponent. Canelo was sure that he was skilled and knowledgeable in a way that Crawford had not yet seen. This claim was more than just bluster. It was a psychological ploy meant to instill doubt and pressure on Crawford ahead of their confrontation. Canelo's comments show that he is sure of his reputation as one of the best fighters of all time, and he seemed eager to remind everyone of how much less experience his opponent had.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look,
it's gonna be me.
I don't care about nobody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Max Kellerman gave a harsh analysis while comparing the two fighters. Crawford's jab, which is now one of the most effective fighting moves, was talked about. Kellerman noted that while Canelo formerly had a similarly sharp jab, it has faded over time, and Crawford's precision and speed in this area give him a distinct advantage. Additionally, Kellerman emphasized that Crawford's tactical awareness could present big problems for Canelo, who relies heavily on his natural size and strength. This breakdown shows that in this fight, planning and technique may be more important than physical strength.
Best jab.
Crawford.
Best defense.
Crawford. Nowadays, Crawford. I would say early in the fight, Canelo. And earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. With any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations? And both guys are hard to hit. With the two-piece, hard to hit.
Yeah. So who has the best footwork out of the two?
In terms of cutting off the ring, last fight notwithstanding, Canelo has gotten much better at cutting off the ring. But, early in his career, he had a problem with that and was much more comfortable counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him.
Nick Ali, Muhammad Ali's grandson, has openly voiced support for Terence Crawford. Crawford's personality and skills in the ring, he says, are exceptional. Ali admires Crawford's determination, discipline, and skill. and considers him a fighter deserving of the title great. His endorsement shows how Crawford's influence extends beyond his accomplishments. It shows the respect he commands among boxing legends.
People with Canelo before Canelo's last fight, but then after Canelo's last fight, it seems like it's more 50-50 now. So everything is just the build up for that fight is just going to be absolutely magnetizing. Like that fight, it's garnered so much more buzz after Canelo's last fight, and Bud is Bud. He's one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He is one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Have you sparred any of them?
I haven't sparred Bud yet. I haven't been in Canelo's camp. I've met Canelo a few times. I love Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But you know, I have to be Team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he could do anything you know, he wants.
And being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does, and that kind of calm is scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades.
Canelo Alvarez has recognized Crawford's skill with professionalism. He claimed that when fighters participate at the top level, weight classes lose some of their importance since true experts can adjust. Canelo mentioned that he is committed to preparing with full vigor, recognizing that facing Crawford needs more than counting on innate advantages. His statements showed his respect for his opponent as well as his understanding that this fight will take peak conditioning and sharp tactics.
Smaller guy, and why do I need to fight this guy? For you, what changed? Tell me about the moment where you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll do this. This sounds like a good idea.
No, if you're thinking about it, look how big turns this fight. It's a big fight. No, that's why made me change. But you know, I've been in key situation before, jumping weight classes, and when you're a good fighter, that doesn't matter. So I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm gonna focus on training very hard because Crawford is a very good fighter.
Yeah, tell me about your experience with that, because now it's reversed. He's coming up in weight. What could be dangerous? What aren't we seeing that maybe you see in this fight?
No, everything. He's a good fighter. Obviously, I know that, and I need to be careful. I need to be careful in everything.
Showbiz, the grown-up, offered a balanced view on the fight. He praised Canelo's physical strength and the intensity of his training camp, stressing how these aspects contribute to Canelo's ongoing domination in the ring. At the same time, he noticed Crawford's particular ability to analyze and counter techniques, which comes from his wrestling background and adds dimensions to his defense and assault. However, Showbiz thinks Canelo's experience and natural size advantage give him a minor advantage in this fight.
And Canelo uses his legs, he uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it, but he is a bull. Listen, Terrence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel in the comments below. We're in the zone, war.
Gerald Miller shared his own hopes for the bout, stating a want to see Crawford prevail. He mentioned Crawford's ambition and tenacity as characteristics that may propel him to victory, despite his physical limitations. Miller dismissed worries about the size gap, saying that a determined boxer can handle such challenges. His point: A view is based on the idea that heart and willpower can often tilt the scales in great confrontations.
Huge fight September 13th. Who do you think's going to win that?
I'm pulling for Crawford in this one. I think people was underestimating his strength right now and his size. And I think he's a little more hungry than Canelo. So let's see though, but I like both guys, but I'm more a little closer to Crawford, so I want to see Crawford can take it.
Many analysts have noted Crawford's tactics in this fight. This is more than just another game. It's a watershed moment that might cement his place in boxing history. Defeating a champion like Canelo would dispel any concerns and elevate Crawford's reputation. To accomplish this, Crawford must use his quick thought and avoid taking unnecessary risks. His game plan must be based on accuracy, patience, and adaptability.
Understands that he has to be smart. And I think with this one specifically, it ain't just about being smart. He knows he has to look like he's never looked before, because again, if he doesn't and he beats Canelo, everybody's just gonna say, well, that's Crawford, you know? So I think he knows that this is the performance of a lifetime and everything has to look right. He knows in order for it to look right, he can't just go out there and let the dog go. The dog is, you know, you gotta work his way up to the dog. Hey, show the clip real quick. I don't know if you showed it already, but this is the dog you're talking about right here, right? And so this is, I pulled this clip right here. I seen it on social media this morning.
Don't do that. That's what I'm saying.
And I pulled this clip, right? But this is Terrence.
That's who he is.
He's not gonna swing on Canelo. He already know that part of the game. But what I asked you, were you ever trying to send a message to your opponent? He's letting you know, and it's no act. And that's what I really wanted to show, is that's not an act.
No.
That's not, there's 30 security guards.
I don't know, it feels a little contrived.
You think so?
I think a lot of people feel it's a little like.
Well, I'm glad you used a big word that most of us don't know.
Hey, I don't fight as good as you guys. I had to learn some big words, right, to make up for that.
Don't look it up. Just ignore.
You need big words to get out of fights. You know, you need big words to get out of fights. But you know, okay. So case in point, our guy Hafey, sitting right there, producer extraordinaire. He had a picture of Terrence Crawford in.
Crawford's ambition is obvious. He is willing to take huge risks by attempting a knockout against a larger and more powerful opponent. His track record in higher weight classes gives him hope. He handled himself well at 154 pounds, showing that he can adjust to larger challenges. Moving up to 168 implies a significant increase. However, Crawford's skill set and prior experience suggest that he will not be out of his element in this bout.
Bud Crawford is taking his undefeated record, putting it on the line, daring to be great, to try and knock off Saul Canelo Alvarez from his throne and go and try to do something that no man has ever done, and that is to be a 3-division undisputed champion. That's a tall task. We know that Canelo Alvarez has fought fighters way bigger than Bud Crawford. It's actually one of the biggest talking points in this fight is the size. Canelo Alvarez has fought guys like Bivol. He's fought guys like Kovalev. He's fought guys like Billy Joe Saunders. He's fought really big fighters who are established at their weight classes all the way up to light heavyweight. And we know that Bud has come from a smaller weight class, being a champion all the way down at the 135-pound division into 140, 147. But as you can see in the tail of the tape, Bud is actually taller. Bud actually has a bigger reach. And quite frankly, he did most recently fight in the 154-pound division. And I don't think he will struggle to make weight to be at 168 and fight as a super middleweight. The question is, though, is bone structure. Who's going to carry that weight more effectively? We know that Canelo Alvarez has been in the weight longer, and as I mentioned, he's fought bigger guys. It's really something amazing for Bud if he's able to pull this off.
Edgar Berlanga provided a positive take on Crawford's thinking going into the fight. He pushed Crawford to focus on what has previously worked for him rather than trying to compensate for the size mismatch. Berlanga stated that taking on a challenge of this size, jumping up to weight classes, inevitably results in an even fight. Crawford's statements show that he is willing to put himself to the ultimate test, regardless of the result.
First of all, he got to go in there and he just got to fight him. You know what I'm saying? He got to go in there. I think Crawford just got to go in there and do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? He got to just beat Crawford, you know, show his IQ, show him why he's a two-time undisputed, you know, world champion, and go in there with confidence. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. You know, there's a big weight difference, a big weight jump. You know, that could be a difference in the fight. You know, because obviously, you know, it's like me jumping up to heavyweight. Obviously, I'm a feel the power. I'm a feel that size difference, you know, compared to my other fights. So I just think that he got to go in there and just be himself. And I said, if he loses, you know, we'll just all know that, hey, you know, he just jumped up 2 weight classes to be great. You know what I'm saying? It's not, he can't really, he's testing himself. He's testing himself a great fighter. So, and I don't doubt him, you know, I don't got no doubt in my mind. You know, he's a 2-time undisputed world champion for a reason. So, you know, and I don't think none's gonna phase him in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the power, maybe the size, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Canelo, he's not knocking Canelo out. So, he just gotta go in there just IQ.
Would you lean towards Canelo still in that fight?
I got faith in him. I think Crawford could do it. You know what I'm saying? I think he could do it. Just like I said, just the size. The only shit that throws the fight off is the size and, you know, obviously the power. And Canelo's IQ too, because Canelo got IQ. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo fought a lot much bigger guys. You know, so I know the Crawford's power ain't gonna phase him. I know Crawford's size ain't gonna phase him either. You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, I think it's a 50-50.
Gareth A. Davies and Duke McKenzie examined the relevance of this battle, agreeing that it is unique in today's boxing world, where top fighters frequently avoid each other. This matchup between two of the sport's elite is a rare and interesting occasion. Their talk focused on how these types of fights are what fans want. When greatness meets greatness, tales are made in the ring. Crawford's reputation for making effective adjustments during fights is one of the key reasons he is so famous. Fans and experts alike praise his ability to study an opponent and change tactics in the middle of a game. This versatility has allowed him to defeat skilled opponents and control the tempo of his battles. Such abilities will be needed if he is to outthink and outmaneuver a fighter like Canelo.
This is a huge fight that's coming up. I really like Terrence Crawford. I think, you know, we were talking about coaches breaking down film. I think that Terrence does a good job of that, breaking his opponent down in the fight. I think that he does a good job of adjusting. I do think that, you know, Canelo is a big feat ahead of him, because I also like Canelo. Like, it's kind of one of those things, like, who do I like more than height? It's gonna be a really good fight. I like both of them. I think that, you know, that is something that I think women's boxing does a good job of, is putting on fights like that. Like, we'll fight whoever. So I think it's cool to see the men starting to do more of that, like it historically has always been. Like,
Tinchu gave an honest account of the events leading up to the fight. He noticed that, while Canelo's technique can appear predictable at times, it offers opportunity for an astute fighter like Crawford to capitalize. Chu also commented on the pre-fight build-up, stating that most of the vitriol displayed in press conferences is intended to generate interest and excitement rather than true hatred. His conviction in Crawford's chances shows his trust in skill. Above size, Crawford understands what's at risk. He understands that this conflict has the power to define his career for decades. By taking on such a massive project, he is preparing for either legendary status or a severe setback. Crawford's awareness of the historical importance of this event just adds to the pressure, and the magnitude of the fight propelled him to this level. Do you think this is similar to your fight now, at this time in your career, where you're rising up and facing someone like Canelo? This makes you unbeatable, and this figure will go down in history. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to compare it to his scenario, but it will be a situation in which I will be talked about for decades too. Man will surely go down in history as one of the best fighters to ever lace up the gloves. Terrence Crawford has been cautiously optimistic about his prospects. He thinks he has a 70% chance of success. His self-assessment demonstrates confidence tempered by realism. Recognizing the difficulty of facing a seasoned and heavier opponent, like Canelo, it indicates a fighter who understands his opponent but is confident in his training and ability.
You're 100% certain you're gonna win.
We never 100%.
What percentage are you?
70.
To say 70% chance, it just doesn't sound that confident. But I want to say this, though. He was being truthful. He knows how important this fight is. And it's that important because it is very difficult. So him saying this is difficult, and I'm giving myself a 70% chance, which is why I'm doing it. It is not because I'm bigger than him and this is easy and I'm stronger than him actually and people don't understand that I'm more skillful. No, he's a beast. And this has never been done. And this is not a sure thing. And that's why I'm so eager to do it. That's the definition of greatness. That's why he should be on the Mount Rushmore if he accomplishes it. That's why Terrence Crawford is
That's all for today's show. Stay tuned. Until the next.